بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعزائي المشاهدين أهلا بكم في
In the
حلقة
name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dear viewers, welcome to a new episode that is very important for patients, for healthy people, and for countries in general, especially our countries in the Arab world, and Egypt in particular. As we know, the prevalence of type 2 diabetes is increasing rapidly worldwide, making this a critical issue to address. So, what is the story we are here to talk about today? It is a highly significant story and a very important study conducted in Finland, analyzing the type 2 diabetes-related health economic impact. It states that a country could save billions of dollars annually if it followed the advice in this research, and it could greatly preserve the health of its citizens, giving them extra years of better health compared to what they currently have, primarily because a healthy diet supporting the control of energy intake has major importance in disease prevention. Let's discuss this study and its recommendations, looking at it not just from a health perspective, but from an economic one. Type 2 diabetes represents a leading cause of morbidity and mortality because of its related micro and macrovascular complications, which heavily burden global health expenditures. We'll offer this advice to our Arab countries, especially our state of Egypt, where we will find that it can save billions of dollars annually while protecting the health of its people. The study was conducted in Finland, a European country with a relatively small population. It was conducted by a prominent professor named Martikainen from the School of Pharmacy at the University of Eastern Finland. Professor Martikainen, whose picture we see in front of us now, made a great effort and collaborated with many researchers, constructing a complex health economic Markov-type cohort model that utilized data from multiple national databases and published scientific literature. Because the upcoming results, guys, are purely economic results that could improve any country's economy and bring about a huge leap forward. What did Jan Martikainen do? He found that currently around 76% of Finnish men and 67% of women already reach the daily goal of dietary fiber intake. In other words, about 70% of the Finnish population consumes whole grains daily, meaning they eat the equivalent of a loaf or two a day, which is known to be inversely associated with the risk for type 2 diabetes. He found this saves his country a massive, enormous amount of money. However, he also found that about 30% of the Finnish population still consumes unhealthy food, which is bread devoid of bran. These Western dietary habits, excess energy intake, and low physical activity are the major determinants of the rise in diabetes prevalence, meaning, if we look at the study's estimated population size without type 2 diabetes at baseline, which was about 2.97 million Finnish adults, there are still about 1.5 million Finns eating sifted bread, white bread, or bread made with refined flour. This lack of whole grain food significantly increases their chances of developing diabetes. So he created mathematical models using the Finnish diabetes risk score to accurately estimate the 10-year risk of developing the disease. He showed that if the third of the Finnish population that doesn't consume healthy bread, the unrefined whole grain bread with its bran intact, altered their habits. If this cohort started consuming 2 portions a day, which is 1 loaf of bread, or a maximum of 2 loaves a day, just like the rest of the Finnish population, they would see a massive shift. The study notes that 2 or more servings of whole grain foods are expected to reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 35%. Over the next 10 years, this would save just the treatment costs of diabetes in Finland. Those 1.5 million people would save a tremendous amount. The study projected that increased whole grain consumption could reduce diabetes-related costs between 286 million euros and 989 million euros during the next 10-year time horizon, depending on the applied scenario. This equates to roughly 100 million euros annually in direct, not indirect costs. What does direct mean? It means healthcare costs, diabetes medications, diabetes treatments, and the things spent exclusively on diabetes. In the study's economic model, these direct costs included additional primary healthcare costs and medication costs. He couldn't conduct his study on multiple diseases simultaneously without introducing too many complex variables. But even if we just look back at the previous episode, we found that whole grain bread doesn't just prevent diabetes. Fiber-rich whole grain foods contain components which may offer important beneficial effects on many other health conditions. It prevents heart disease, meaning there are many other diseases that, if Martikainen had included them in his equations, he would have predicted a much larger number, perhaps 3 times this amount. So in short, the summary of this man's research says, I can save the country money if the 1.5 million people who don't use whole grains start using them. We can save the country around 100 million euros annually while giving these people more years in better health. Furthermore, over the next 20 to 30 years, a population-wide increase could lead to much higher cumulative savings in the healthcare sector, and that, of course, would also be an indirect saving. Now, if we apply this to our Arab world and look at a country like Egypt, we have a population of about 110 million people, and all of them do not use whole grain bread. Instead, they use bread stripped of bran. That, quote, "s the norm in Egypt." So we have 110 million. If you divide 110 million by 1.5 million, it comes out to roughly more than 16 times the Finnish population that doesn't use it. So if we assume that starting tomorrow we began feeding the Egyptian people whole grain bread, this requires public health policies supporting the increased consumption of whole grains, such as campaigns and endorsement by manufacturers. If we simply don't sift the flour and the Egyptian people start getting used to its taste, we could save 16 times this number annually. Meaning, if we calculate it simply, we have 110 million people. If we divide them by 1.5 comma, we get 73 times. 73 times multiplied by 100 million euros gives us 7 billion euros that we could save annually. 7 billion euros, meaning more than $7 billion, could be saved annually that were being spent on diabetes. Now, what if we multiplied this number by 3? Because this bread doesn't just prevent and help with diabetes. If we multiplied it by just 3 other conditions, heart disease, hypertension, strokes, and brain diseases. There is well-established evidence for the benefits of whole grains in the prevention of cardiovascular diseases and various types of cancers. So if we multiply it just by 3, we could save more than $22 billion or euros annually just in direct healthcare costs. This is in one country. What if we look at the Arab world, which is about 500 million people or more? That means multiplying this number by 5, meaning you have $350 billion or euros that the Arab world could save in direct cost for the health of its citizens. What does direct costs mean? It means money paid for treatments and surgeries. What are the indirect costs then? The study highlights that a societal perspective must include productivity losses due to type 2 diabetes, such as sick leaves, premature retirements, and premature deaths. Healthy people will work, live their lives normally, and have more useful years of life instead of being sidelined at age 50. So you could multiply those 350 billion by 2, or even more. The inclusion of costs associated with work absences and permanent work disabilities significantly increases the savings potential. We are wasting billions upon billions of dollars and causing patients to suffer. The patient who gets diabetes early suffers immensely. While this study calculated it economically because it wanted to tackle the issue from a specific angle, there is a profound social aspect. The diabetic patient suffers, their family suffers, and the other micro and macrovascular complications that affect them cause intense suffering. So, in short, we are directing this message, and I rarely ask anyone to share a video or send it to someone, but I want this video to spread so it reaches officials in all Arab countries, especially Egypt, so they can start looking into this issue and how to implement it. Foreign countries have preceded us in this matter. While they don't strictly force the population, daily whole grain consumption in Finland is already at a relatively high level in a global context. 2/3 of its people use healthy bread, and they are doing research to get the remaining third to also increase their daily intake. So if we made a decision and changed our dietary habits, we aren't going to do anything drastic. The wheat we import, we'll import as is, or what we grow, we'll keep as is. We won't sift it. It will be milled and baked as is. Consequently, we will save about $16 billion on diabetes alone, which translates to around 70-something billion dollars across all diseases and expenses, huge amounts of money in our economy, which currently needs to save every dollar. We import medicines, we import materials for surgeries, and we spend a lot on healthcare. Even if medicines are produced in our country, their raw materials are imported from abroad using dollars. It quote, "S a tremendous and beautiful study that shows us just how medical and health scientific research can indirectly benefit countries' economies and turn a middle-income country into a high-income one. These preventive nutrition policies require upfront investments, but these investments could be expected to be offset by the cost savings in the future with a potentially greater return on investment, ROI. So I hope attention is given to this matter, and I hope for its swift implementation, or at least that both options become available here in the markets in Egypt. I don't know about other Arab countries, of course, but we don't find both choices. We go and find this regular bread that is available. There is no second option, no awareness, and nothing talking about it. So I hope anyone who receives this video and works in the media, has authority, or has the power to make decisions will start thinking about introducing this issue for discussion. Endorsement by catering services in schools, workplaces, and healthcare can make a huge difference in public health policymaking, and may God make this happen very soon to save millions of Egyptians from the health deterioration they experience. What else does this research say? It notes that depending on the applied scenario, between 1,323 and 154,094 quality-adjusted life years, QALYs, could be gained at the population level during the next 10 to 30 years. This, of course, is for the 1.5 million people who don't use this bread. Quality-adjusted life years represent years lived in full health. Adding 154,000 years across the population means it could add 5, 6, or 10 extra healthy years to everyone's life. Instead of living on injections and pills, they live healthy and carry out their activities normally. And this is due to the decline in rates of disease, morbidity, and mortality related strictly to type 2 diabetes over the next 10 years or more, simply due to the use of whole grain bread, which prevents the severe negative impacts on an individual's health-related quality of life. This is very beautiful talk. And as usual, I will put this study in the sources in the description box for anyone who wants to refer back to it and learn more from the numerical data and health economic models it contains. That's what we have for today. Until we meet in a future episode and a new study. Thank you, and the peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you.